How is it 8:30 already? That's funny. I don't know. Actually, went live a bit too soon. Still gotta use the washroom before I go. But we're gonna be doing some Major Mole, some Blender today. We need to actually. We're gonna jump more into art for this sprint. So there are a few things that's gonna be needed for this sprint that I'm working on, which is going to be getting everything in the main build, which is going to be like the main Unforgiven space build. We want to get that playable and working. So I'm going to stop working on features for a little bit, like new features, and we're going to implement more of the multiplayer stuff. You know, kind of stop the development process and kind of start putting what we have together in a gameplay loop, or like, you know, instead of a test gameplay loop, in a more polished, player focused, you know, kind of test environment, to get a sense of feel and, you know, scale and prototype. Yeah, in reality, Fusion wants to do a trailer, like a current work in progress trailer. And obviously the gray box doesn't really do it justice, right? But there's a lot of stuff now working, right? A lot of things are working on multiplayer, a lot of the ship components are working, a lot of the... So let's, like, for the sake of marketing, let's do what I've done here in Blender for the ship modules. Like, I probably reuse a lot of these paneling for panels for the mall / station. So we have like we have these circular stations, which I kind of like, but they're kind of they're kind of the same concept, right? Like reusable modular pieces. But I want to do a set of these for the non-circular stations, what I call the truck stops, because we won't need massive scale stations for a while. Like, we won't need the ring stations once I'm running. Yeah, in a bit, right? So I want to make these bigger modulars. You know, we call them like shopping malls, but they're just truck stops. Right, so we got some vending machines. So we're just thinking about like space, right? And like how much room we really need when we're like moving cargo, and like 6 meters is probably plenty. It's like a good, you know, meter of play, you know, going to and from. So it shouldn't be too claustrophobic, but I gotta go to sleep. It's 2 a.m. here. I gotta work tomorrow. We have a great stream. It was good seeing you, Jamal. I hope you're still doing well. I hope you're working on your game. Make sure you're on the Discord. One of these days we should catch up and, you know, have a chat. I'm always curious to see like what you're doing with the industry and whatnot. So I want to like do some, you know, we want to just do some prototyping. Some, it'll be gray box, but gray box more detailed art. So I'm gonna go use the washroom. Surely, man. Yeah, cool. Sounds great. I think you're on the Discord. Because I want these stations to kind of visibly tell true level design. Like, hey, there's air exchange, there's gases moving through them. They're kind of bolted together, right? The main structures between these modules are going to have like rivets, and, you know, all the floors will be made of paneling, but they'll have like a floating section, so you can look down and see wires and stuff. Like a very accessible system. Like these panels here that I've kind of designed, these will be cut up, and some of them will have normals for like access panels and power, and, you know, and they'll be kind of randomly distributed. But they're meant so that everything makes sense. Like every one of these modules are connecting things, not just visually, but also like systemically, right? So it's just you know, thinking about, you know, giving like what room do I need to have posters and stuff. And if I want to have posters, I can have them kind of like above this, you know, kind of hanging, but, you know, different kind of, you know, displays and, you know, some different ideas. We want to have like a hanging harness of you know, maybe gonna maybe we'll bring up the wall or the ceiling height a little bit more, right? And the assumption is for whatever the height is, we can come down and just make this floor be floating, and then we could have, you know, all the lights and stuff like that kind of on structure. So, or I can keep it flat. It all depends on like how cozy we want the traversal to feel. Okay, so there's a bunch of level design stuff here. But I'll be right back. I'm going to use a washroom and we'll kind of play around with this. But ultimately, all that matters is we have these 8 meter and 16 meter grids. I want to try to keep I want to use geometry nodes to be able to build up these connectors and kind of see what happens. And if these are 4 high, we also want to put a cube. So we want to make sure that they never go greater than an 8-meter block. So we're kind of 6 by default. So we'll just do, yeah. What was off? Oh, because I'm extending this one up 0.5. So that way this one, yeah, okay. I don't know why delete, like what is wrong? Why? I'm in edit mode, I'm hitting delete, delete's not doing anything. Something's being very weird. Like I can move things around, but my delete key is not working. I don't know, I'm gonna relaunch it. Because it's being weird. Oh yeah, now it's working. Okay, so this is 6 meters tall. Kind of, it's not quite. Well, this one should be 4. You know, it helps to turn on your headset to hear all the things. That's true. I'm still drinking it. Hey, Mongolive. Turns out Godot's gravity stuff is under lock and key, it seems. Yep. To the state total gravity you can't contribute it to? Oh, really? Seems that way. Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole with it a little bit, and I just got annoyed with it. I don't think so, it's going. So now I need to sleep on it and implement my own gravity stuff into the movement system without making it a hassle to work with. Yeah, like even the area overrides for gravity are weird because they're like worlds, like they're like world positioned. They don't take local, like the local bases into account. So you'd have, if you wanted to have a ship moving or a moving gravity volume that was like, I don't know, like tilting or something or doing whatever, you'd have to still in physics process update gravity direction. It's not like it doesn't like use its like global basis, you know, into consideration when applying gravity every physics frame by default. So it's like why? I mean, it works fine for the planetary gravity because it's a single point that never changes, even if you were to rotate it or whatever, it'd be fine. But for area 3Ds, like in general, like for like a box shape but without like a single point, very annoying. I did make it like a sticky floor thing today where you walk on it constantly changes the gravity for the avatar depending on the ground normal, but I need it either to have like an out permanent gravity when the avatar like walks or something like it. I gotcha. But it was missing around experiments, but was missing around experience because it would have been nice to be compatible properly. But it's not possible to have like a roll on a separate gravity. Where's the ceiling? It's not complicated, but when so much depends on it, it's important to get it right when you get it right. Yep. Yeah, like where? So I just delete it apparently. I don't remember ever hearing your mouse and keyboard as loudly before. It's because I'm using my microphone. I'm using the good Rode mic, and the Rode mic is right here next to it. And I probably don't have, I probably turned off the voice suppression the other day. No, the noise gate is on. I could up the noise gate. I don't know. Alright, let's leave this alone. But I think I know now I just need a different approach, and yet again, expand the base class I use for movement stuff. I rolled the ball into a jump pad today. The jump pad is geared to launch a 100 kilogram player, but the ball was 0.5. It was there, and then it touched the area 3D, and the next frame it wasn't. Why are those corner pieces there? Put this back here. Delete these ones. So I made the jump pads do a constant velocity or use force. Force is more fun, but the mass is tricky. I need to look into that. Interesting enough, it still hasn't updated. Must be another one in here. Because this one's normal. What's this plane? Oh yeah, this one. My keep player upright was doing a flat rotation speed. Now it does tweaking of angular velocity instead. Ah, cool. I don't know what type of system I use for this. Yeah, since stopping made momentum turn into a little bit of an angular velocity, and the rotation approach of stand-up didn't negate that. It just compensated the rotation and resulting in moving backwards. So confusing stuff. But it does feel good though. Overall, I mean, fully part of the game engine space. It's not like you're controlling the thing in it as much as you're part of it. A lot needs to be figured out still. That's awesome. What game engine are you using? Hey, Grazier, we're using Godot. The game is made in Godot. You can actually see the spacing here. Alright, so this is, oh god. I guess this is the main space trucking chip. It's nice to finally find a stream without chat delay. Nice. Yeah, it's hard to get views on YouTube, but we're on Twitch as well. I think the YouTube quality is actually much better, personally. So the game is like a Sea of Thieves in space, right? You have your ship, you can upgrade everything. It's multiplayer, right? You bring your ship into the hangar, swap out all the components physically, right? Slowly work on reputation, upgrade things, right? All parts of the ship can be upgraded underneath, from, you know, coolers, power plants, and you know, you have your standard, you know, delivery missions that you can do, and that's kind of the gist right now. What I want to do, or what I'm working towards, is getting rid of this truck stop. Right, like it was a good test bed for a while, but we need to move into more modular pieces and more standardized, you know, ways that we can randomize a lot of these and create variations, and right. And I don't like the hangers, like the pads. So pads have been unified. We have a whole new system now which combines the landing pads with the hangar, and dynamically stores the ship and kind of spawns the ship in. It makes it easier for NPCs to kind of spawn and despawn, but things are a little bit bigger. Alright, so the scale thing is going to increase a little bit on the hangars, but you know, the upside is it just creates a better experience, right? So what I'm working on this month is putting together like another vertical slice, or playable vertical slice. So we need to make a new commerce area. I like this design for the commerce area, but it needs to be, you know, streamlined a little bit more, made a bit simple, I guess. Like the way that we traverse between that upper and lower module needs to be like kind of the same, right? So if we were to have like two arms coming off, I'd want the you know, the stair system and stuff like that to be, you know, usable to kind of bring you down a floor or up a floor for the whole like, station. Hey, Esther. By the way, I started a workflow of a what? Of a mortar? Oh, a morpher blend? And the blend files for link parts. So for my obstacle course level, everything's made in Blender, but the sticky floor part needs the script, and I don't want to use editable children. So I just turn renderer off in the level blend, set Godot to only import rendered objects, so it just skips the sticky ground, create a blend with a sticky object linked in, and then that gets dropped into Godot, and I have a script on it. Mother blend. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Right, so this is like, I want to get this playable now, and I now have, let me just hit play here. I'll just show you what I did last night. You might appreciate this one too. That all went over my head. It's all good. All that matters is game equals fun. So I went in, so Fusion, one of my colleagues, wants to help doing some marketing. So, but all of this needs to be like kind of more, clean. So yesterday I dumped the Unforgiven space or Unforgiven systems project in Unforgiven space, did a full merge in, bring the branch in. So you notice I'm not using the final art versions now. That I was using, and they kind of got replaced because the resources are referencing those old models. But what's cool is all the things now are here and working. So we can do the decorate the station gameplay. Right, so I just spawned in everything, so we can take we can go and actually all the item sockets are now working for the item types. So I'm just gonna very quickly here, because this is the $10 Patreon promise, right? As you get your own little place, and I figured, hey, let's get that working. So so we can actually go and decorate, and all the tech for this, like the API work is already done. This has been working for a while. It's just since moving the Godot, I haven't actually I haven't focused on this particular build of the final game. I really want to get all the systems working first, and like I'm sure people who want the game done more than even some of the, like I know it's cool to want to be able to play with the game, but the systems project was working. But I think Fusion's right. I think actually making a new trailer, an in Godot trailer, would be highly beneficial, even at this stage of the game. So showing all this off in like a vertical slice, not going to be a bad thing. Could I actually help you with the game? I have experience in modeling and building. I'm 13, so nobody really takes me seriously. I would recommend joining the Discord. It's just unforgivenspace.com right now. And if you want to try a model, you know what I mean? Like, you're more than welcome. Like, I don't mind throwing in a prop or two. It's a little bit of experience for you. I'm not sure all the legalities of that, but I mean, yeah, you can see like the LODs on these are a bit weird too. Like if I get close enough, they're fine, but I think these might have to be like, the TV should be the latest patch news. Oh, that's a great idea actually. Yeah. So like this is all working, right? So, but check this out. So let's really, I literally brought everything in. There's still like a lot of bugs in the build itself, but one of the cool things, like the character gimbals in the stations here, so like this is all like working now. Yeah, it's the auto lot. I have less experience in high poly though. So one of the cool features I added was taking the rigid body velocity and applying it to the ship. So like check out the let me just come around here. Right, so all the pips are now working. Although this guy is not going anywhere. But notice as I'm rolling and moving, right, we're getting that velocity naturally shift, pull back, push forward, right, roll, pitch. And it feels really good. Like it feels sluggish, but not in a bad way. Like it kind of feels, and the left and right motion's a little bit too jerky. At a certain speed, I need to clamp the rate at which it can change, because certain forces like up and down like end up becoming like kind of crazy. But anyway, this is all working really well, and it feels good, and the gravity system is broke. in this one because we redid all the gravity volumes. So that's like obviously like there's still a lot of work to do to get this build cleaned up a little bit, but I'm like everything came in, like all the assets, like it was pretty good, pretty quick. So what I'm hoping to do now is we need to get rid of this truck stop, because like there's a lot of stuff in here, like the comm array is kind of terrible, right? Like this needs to be its own module that you can go to, right? Like you know, it's a part of the communications thing, like a little data center type thing, right? Like all of this will go become arms, right? There's no more pads, they will be hangars, right? So and the mall is going to look more like this. It's so that's what we're doing. We're gray boxing. We're white boxing really. We're a bit further along here, like trying to create some pretty interesting sense of scale and connections. But let me open up. This is just so cool. Oh, I'm glad you think so. So this is like the new cargo bays. I'm excited to get the new cargo bays in. Like, you know, unifying things is going to be the key, right? But find the I think there should be in station modules, commerce module. Yeah, we need to organize our shit. So this is the commerce module prototype. This is all exactly the same shop because, I mean, this is just for prototype purposes. But I want it to make the area that we enter, you know, where we actually go and buy all the things. I want to be able to look up some, right, like when we're going along and we're buying things, I want to look up and see the top floor. So this panel here is going to be glass, so it'll be a glass railing, and then there'll be supports underneath, right? So it'll be you can see what the top shops are, but not too well. And then there's going to be these connections right here, right? That kind of bring us up, right? There's these I don't know why they're not there now, but in the other model they're there, right? So there's different hallways that have the stairwells. So it's a lot smaller, but you can look out, you can see space, and you know what I mean? Like it's meant to let's simplify, right? So the right, so you know you come in from the hangar, and you're immediately just at the mall. You can grab all the things you need. It's in one area. There won't really be more. Like we don't need more than. I mean, there's 16 shops here, right? 16 variations of shops. That probably won't even be the case. There probably might only be like 8 different types of shops that would ever be needed in the smaller truck stops, right? Just fuel, like ship purchase rentals, like, you know, very basic. So the outside is just like how the exterior would look for this module. And it would be like a few of these, like whatever the length would be determined. And there'll be some variation, but this simplifies things a lot. But is there blackjack? Of course. Do you plan on implementing any of the rendering style for the? I don't. So the cool thing is, what I can do is we can do the we can do the full art pass, right? So it's done. And then I can just swap out the materials for the, you know, the actual anime style, and we can actually just kind of get an idea of like how it feels. Like I'll just do 2 builds, right? Like 2 playable builds. One where we just, you know, have the anime, you know, versions just with the material swap, and you know, just get a good feeling of how it kind of how it goes. Right, so that's the that's the idea, right? Like just, you know, it'll help kind of speed things up a bit, just to be able to kind of, you know, right? So we lose, and the other thing too that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the stations look cool on the outside without having to deal with alphas. Like if we had to look into the station from the outside, like there's areas I want to be able to do that. Like I want to be able to look down and see NPCs, but I want the angle to be strict enough that we can use occlusion. We can put occluders, you know, on there and hide a lot of the stuff until you're actually like flying above, right? So performance, right? Like little things like that. So this is just, you know, some food for thought. Because I want to have some vending machines, like a place to sit, like, you know, little like kind of places to sit down, and you know, some cigarette vending machines, and you know, lots of advertising. And it's really hard to sell anything when you're you know, like there's just placeholder. Like you gotta kind of when the details there and the lighting is there, it'll kind of I can kind of see this in my head. Just there's not enough variation of things for it to make sense right now. Right, so that's you know, like the all right, because I do like this window, and I want to be able to have this, but I want to have this kind of as a same on both sides type of deal, or you know, like a foyer style, you know, like more of a, I'm thinking like a park, you know what I mean? Or like you ever go to a hotel and there's like a forest, you know, like a little enclosed mini garden type thing. I think there could be like a landing area, like an open kind of like concept that does have like these kind of, you know, that kind of like brings you into like either the commerce area or vice versa. But yeah, like this is just, you know, ideas, right? Just to make things more concrete, more modular, right? Like I can't go into Blender and randomize any of this stuff. But like to a certain degree, some of them I can, but this middle piece is so unique. You know, it's kind of, you know, I mean, we just have this core module, and I don't want to have. I want to have the, you know, the ship terminals in their own place. You know, like once you get through security, you go to your ship terminal, spawn your ship in. I want like habitation to be its own wing. You know, so you would go kind of like from habitation to the commerce module. You kind of like go into the module, you would check in, and you go to your hab. So instead of having it like on its own floor down here where we're spawning them in, like all the different modules, it will be its own thing, and they will be back to back. Right? So you could look at the back side of the station or the front side of the station. So the goal is ultimately to get a truck stop that kind of looks a little bit more like a International Space Station type thing, like bigger modules with massive, you know, the comm system moves more this way, you know what I mean? So like on this there'll be like a comm system, and it will be like connected, it would have all the antenna and stuff like that. So, you know, they're a little bit more elongated, but they'll be a little bit more easier to use, and they can be multi-floor. Right, so that's for just the truck stops. We're still gonna have the big giant orbital stations. Like those are gonna be the main, you know, larger, you know, areas. So there's a whole, like, I have a whole plan for this stuff, but I don't want to tackle those this early. I want to like get it all working with little truck stops, and then we scale, you know, as the gameplay sells itself. I'll be right back. I use the washroom again. Just waiting for the fiance to jump out of the washroom. Well, she's still in there, so we'll just keep at it for the time being, and when she's done, I'll yeah, so like there's a few things like the security station and a few other things where you get contracts that like never really liked. I think Joe's Furniture is cool. Right, we just need to actually make it a furniture store. Like we just need to do some, you know, some modeling. Make unified props that will actually work. Anyway, we're gonna close this out so we have our resources and get back into Blender. And the idea is that we want to use Space Edit to like place a lot of this stuff, so we want to like build up modules that we can use in Space Edit to automatically randomize and vice versa. But we're mostly right now just prototyping. Let's see how it feels, right? So there'll be a build of this where we kind of, because I think I can use geometry nodes to kind of randomize a lot of these. So I want to create a version of this that's a connection, so it can go either way. So to like bend these. New. And for the link sections, these will be pretty much pretty easy. We just need to realize that we're going to be linking. So these, I want to join. Yeah, so we're gonna have these coming in from each side that we'll need to join. So it's going to be one of these. Yeah, I don't know, maybe we won't really see that. Yeah, you really don't. Which is fine. So now we can just kind of join these together inside. Oh my god, go away. I love ClickUp, but I hate the command line. You're trying to join something. It's kind of annoying. We want to split edges, then we'll just do this, and we'll select them all, and we'll hit G, and we'll hit Enter. This will join all of our splits together. And then we just need to yeah, because you really can't see anything with this. Module 8x8T. Care to talk about some of the performance enhancing features you're planning on using? I don't know, it's probably too early. I mean, we have multi-mesh instances for like Planet Tech. There's yeah, the performance stuff kind of happens as you're running the walls and you're like, this is actually performing really badly, what do we do about it? And we're kind of forced to, you know, make some optimizations. Oh, you're curious about how like server-side things work for client-side, for client-calling objects. So, what Godot has is this concept. It sucks that it's like fully, you know, you have to control it completely. But for all of the, I don't know why I closed. Okay, so explain the systems. But anyway, all network synchronizers have a property called visibility, and it's visibility on the network instance. So when we go to the synchronizer here, we have public visibility, and it's on by default. And what public visibility states, it's just whether or not synchronization itself should be visible on all peers. So just whether it should literally be visible, but also if the synchronized properties itself are being replicated. Now, this visibility is fully controlled by your own callable, which means you need to bind a callable function to the public visibility, which will return true or false whether the object is visible or not visible. But then you have all of the power to define how visibility works. So like, you can have a server script that's, as an example, keeping track of all clients or all client players. And what it's doing is iterating through each of the client players and like distance checking themselves from each other right, on the server. And if there's a distance threshold, as an example, you can just say, oh, we're not synchronizing that. So the server itself doesn't replicate anything to the client, right? Because the other clients don't need that information, right? So you can kind of start, not just for other players, but for objects. Like if we have NPCs, and the NPCs have a multiplayer spawner, right? Each station manager, as an example, which manages NPCs, can dictate whether public visibility is true or not for any of the NPCs, based upon the fact that, is there an actual player like at the station? Is there a player close enough in proximity? So when you enter the navigation range of an actual station, this visibility can be enabled, and now suddenly you're getting interpolated position data and stuff like that being streamed in, right? The goal is to keep players far enough apart that only when they're close enough to each other, right, do we have a high throughput of replication, or only when we have everybody going to the bar or walking around a station. The second everybody leaves and flies away from that station, all of that gets shut down, right? It's no longer, they can still be there. They can even be like kind of not rendered. I mean, on the server, they're not rendered anyway, because the server strips all meshes. Like on the server, they're only their game object without their mesh data and without anything. Like they're just completely, like cold, but they still have animations. They still have, in the case, skeletal animations and things like that can slow them down. But that's like kind of how, like this can be kind of throttled. And what I would love to do is kind of take that a little bit further and be able to, like, and I haven't played around with it yet, but there's a replication interval and a delta interval, which is like the manual rate at which synchronization occurs. And what I would like to do is create what are called like synchronization zones. I gotta like turn the music down because the music's being like super loud and I can't actually explain shit. Give me a second. Or I'll just turn down my headset because I'm not sure what the music's like. Maybe the music's fine for you guys, but it's a bit loud for me. Yeah, maybe I'll just turn the headset down. So I would say we're playing pool as an example in Unforgiven space, right? So there's two people playing pool, right? There's 15 balls or whatever, right? Like they're being synchronized. It's not a lot of data, right? It's just position rotation of 15 balls or whatever. I want the players that are playing the pool game to have like the most high throughput of synchronization, because they're the ones actually doing it. They're the ones playing the game. But I would like people outside of that game, outside of the observation of the game itself, to be able to see what's happening. But we don't need them because we have like interpolation. There's no reason why people standing around the pool table need any more than 15 FPS of server performance to observe the pool game being played, right? And it doesn't even have to be like extremely accurate. It could be even behind a little bit, because they're still seeing the pool game play out. They're just maybe seeing it 100 milliseconds in the past, right? Like with a buffer or vice versa, right? And then if you're outside that in the general bar, right, there's a point at which, you know what I mean? Like you don't need to have any of that data. So like calculation steps sent to each client are rarer the further, exactly, right? So they're actually areas themselves and systems, right? Like playing the game, registering yourself to play the actual game. You're playing the pool game with your buddy. You're in the mini game. It's 60 hertz for you, or it's standard 60 hertz stick rate, but we want everyone else to be able to watch, but we don't want them to watch very aggressively. So it's like, how do we control visibility situationally, right? And if I will find a way to do it, because I'll just, like ultimately, if we control visibility and the way visibility updates, we can set all the logic up of how visibility gets controlled and like how replication gets replicated, but I'm not sure what happens when you change this interval dynamically, but I'd want to build a system that does exactly this, right? A dynamic tick rate based upon a network log. Because it's a space game, right? So a space game, a network level of detail, like a distant space level of detail in a space game will be like just perfect. Like that goes for ships. Like when you're looking at a ship and that ship is so far away from you, you know, it's a rigid body. It has high interpolation anyway. There's no reason the ship that's further away than, you know what I mean, whatever the distance would be, like scanner range, right, needs to be pulled more than like 15 to 30 FPS, right? Because it's going to be interpolated. So, but as you get close, as these ships come into view and they're fighting each other, or they're flying together, or you're playing the game together, right? Then you want your throughput to be like, you know, 30 hertz or 60 hertz or whatever, you know what I mean? Hey, Ark. So that's how this system ultimately needs to work, right? But that's the goal to work towards. It's like on the Godot side, on the, you know, like the ultimate, because I think that is actually going to be the solution and how we kind of scale. And like, what I want to do ultimately is to build a rigid body, so it's like a custom client-side reconciliation rollback system specifically designed for the both edge cases of players and ships. Because normally, like when people make a networking solution, they'll go like some unified system, right? We don't need a unified system that works for everything. We know players are only ever a first-person player, and they're rigid body based. We know ships are, you know, like ships, and we also know the dynamic of a ship. We know the predictability of a ship because a ship can't turn on a dime, right? The ship can't make these crazy dynamic. I mean, they you know, they're flying pretty good, but you know, they have weight, right? They have mass. They're extremely predictable when you think about them as an object in space, right? So if I build, you know, a really good interpolation rollback system just for rigid bodies, everything else in the game doesn't really matter. Everything else is server side, like fully server side, all the states of things, right? Like, then that's it, right? Like that's like the whole scope, right? Of things. And then combined with the zone system, which isolates rigid body simulations, there's a high probability, like it shouldn't require much to really like push it. I'm totally getting distracted now on the, but that's the idea, right? It's distance-based network lotting, and not just distance-based. I would call it zone-based lotting, right? When you're inside the stars, like only replicate players that are inside the ship together. You know what I mean? Like. Because in a sense, when you register yourself on the ship and you're in the co-pilot seat and I'm in the pilot seat, we don't need to synchronize anything else on the exterior, right? Like I can look at you inside the ship and we can see both players in their seats, right? But that we know they're in the seats because those players are registered in those station roles. So when we see the ship, like the station roles are kind of synchronized, right? Like who's doing what. So all that positional data, anything that's happening inside that ship as a zone level, doesn't need to be replicated outside the ship, right? The only thing that needs to be replicated is maybe because we have camera gimbals in each station, like there's actually like a node or a marker in each station that's moving around and being jerked and whatever. We can expose those, right, with the standard ship's replication. So like as the players are looking around and doing whatever, we could see that outside the ship. But the second you enter the ship, you go through the airlock, right? Because you have to either go through the back or you go through the airlock. The second you open the door or whatever, you're like, boom, you're seeing everything. Right, so we get like network occlusion, if you will. Zone-based network replication, I think, is the ultimate like win for the game. And how's it going, Ark? Yeah, layered network visibility filtering sounds like fun to set up and debug. But like, if it works, like you know what I mean, like it's the correct way to handle the throughput. And given that I still like plan to just only focus on having like Sea of Thieves style 23 to 25 players, right? Like per session, like in an instance, and right, like it totally will be. You know what I mean? Like I think it'll be fine. Like it's well, you know, I'll prove it, I guess, down the road, right? But you know. But the thing is, right now, is like we're totally fine with the client authoritative movement, right? Especially for testing. Like, there's nothing going to stop us from creating the gameplay loops. And right now, like, it's the gameplay that matters more than anything, right? Is getting things like off the ground, getting things moving, like, you know, like being able to actually play the game. Why does it do this? This is supposed to be linked. It's not linked at all. Just. I wonder if there's a way to have players contribute to calculations in their own zone. Like, the more players in the zone, the more they can offload. Yes. So that is what I'm working on with the backend stuff, is server monitoring. The idea that if things start getting too overwhelming, we could spin up something to take off the load. You know what I mean? Like that would be the you know what I mean? The chef's kiss of things. Where like the systems have to be like very easy to scale and dynamic to scale, right? Or just, you know, yeah, see, because I'm liking this. This is kind of ignore all the vending machines, but I want to create like I want to create structure that looks very purpose-built. Say a layer for RBs is on star system level, then like separate layer for like the station, but that representation to the player is actually using difference of priority, like staying at a station, looking at seeing massive ships. Yeah, right? That's it. The hard part is getting all the layers right. Well, that's why, like, so that's like one of the things I want to solve now is how to use Godot's, you know, physics interpolation with the network synchronizer's own interpolation, right? Because you have interpolated position happening anyway, and once, like, with that interpolated position, which is happening on process anyway, right? Like, you end up kind of getting a little bit of both for free. I'll be right back. I'm gonna actually try to use the washroom again. And I think, like, you don't really need to sync the velocities either if position is working. Unless you want the client authority to kind of be able to be bumped around or whatever, right? Like in the case of if you don't, you know, actually, yeah, no need for velocities in AAA, exactly, right? Like you could have velocities on the synchronizer if you wanted to be able to simulate a local client authority of someone else hitting you, right? Or things like that, but you don't though. Like, especially if that simulation is only happening on the server. But you're probably right though. We will actually need that data. Yeah. I'm eager to slap basic multiplayer into my movement system dev project just so I get to smack someone else with a big bat and see if they go flying. I'm not ready for that yet. It'll be cool. And what we'll do is we'll just do like a cap, and the cap is just for any place that we just want to end. Yeah, it's really promising, but who knows what stumble blocks I'll run into. For now, everything is solvable and ironed out. Dude, it's the, hang on, I posted this to Booch earlier on the Discord. And it's so true. Let me open this. Right, this is Godot, right? Oh, a UI-centered Android app. A carousel menu? You mean just a V-box inside a scroll, right? Let's go in and out. 20-minute adventure. And it's like 3 weeks later. This is Godot. You know, we're just going to add like dynamic server authority. You know what I mean? It should be just, you know, changing the multiplayer. Yeah, it should be simple. Right? Send a couple RPCs. What could go wrong? And it's always the little things that end up being, you know what I mean? Like, end up getting smack you in the face. The sad part is that it was kind of a slip on appeal. Yeah, so we really just do Three of these guys. And one of these. And we'll do a new cat. Call end cap. Oop. And the thing is, we already know that it's going to end at one of these. We can turn off. This. And we can also set origin to be here. So we know that this is going to already be ended. I wish Android had a better desktop mode. Same. I want to switch over to Android so bad. Like developing Godot stuff on Apple sucks. And Dex is Samsung, right? Like, is that an only Samsung thing for Dex? Yeah, yeah. I mean, they could compile them before, but you can just run Godot now on. I had a dock with a mouse, keyboard, enough performance to not need a PC, but the interface drives me away. Gotcha. Yeah, because we're... yeah, let's not do what I'm thinking. Because this is going to be going to the other one, that's just inverted. They messed up the desktop that much on the deck, or on the dock. I read that as deck. Sorry, tired. I mean, I am running like Doom 2016 and Skyrim on the phone, so it has enough juice. Where are the side walls? Where are the support walls? Not having support walls. I'd like to replicate the architecture and overall style that the fifth element has, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. It's gritty, but at the same time, it's about luxury and functional space is shown. I love the fifth element too. The apartment building, so good. Yeah, I think the fifth element is lovely as a you know, style go. Yeah, so you can kind of get in there, buy some things. We're taking away 2 meters, but we're ending it up pretty good. I'm gonna rename all this stuff later. Oh, you don't know why you like it? Oh, you don't know why, but I like it? I don't know, there's something cool about it. Like retro-futurism type of thing, I don't know. I love the McDonald's, you know what I mean? The floating McDonald's and everything, just, I don't know. I even made like 3D replica of Corbin's apartment. Oh, really? You should share that on the Discord. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so I like these end caps. And wherever there is these end caps, we have to have signage, right? That kind of floats down, showing like left or right. Like, you know, like visibly, there has to be like always like something that's showcasing directionality of like where to go. And I'm thinking about doing lines on the floor, like there'd be like these running lines that are 1/2 meter wide. But they'll say like spaceport, you know what I mean? And you can kind of follow them. So for the 16 by 16, so the whole hanger, This is so much better. A lot of dead space in these yet. They're kind of very open, but I can kind of give them detail now that I kind of have a better sense of scale. Module 32 by 32. Or is it 16 by 16? 16 by 16. We have a visitor. This is Pixel. He's a Sark. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants half the time. Hey you. Look up here. Purrs. Look. 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 Yeah, we want to join this. One, two, four. 32 by 32 double. And we're doing this like 8-8. I'm going to technically duplicate this. Move it 4 this way. No, 8 that way. This can just be one piece. See. Yeah, I still think for these, we'll route them around and just have one exit instead of coming out on like both sides. But I want to create a bunch of different variations. I want to see what this would kind of look like. I want to actually like bring it out, have it kind of go around a kind of circle of different hangers. So far I'm liking all this. It's hard to see it all like, you know, when it's done, but it's I'm getting good vibes from it. I can always edit these, like just like it'll change all of them, just come in. If I want to carve them out a little bit, give them a bit more shape in the structure, I can do that. And also, you know, take some different variations that we can randomize between different styles. Ignore the shell. This is just like a prototype. I want to try to like encapsulate the whole bay, what I'm kind of looking to, you know, because it does take a lot of space to store the ship and bring it back out again. I still have the other classy types as well. Yeah, so that these hallways may be a bit more space if we're going to use the whole. We should do some line variants, some 16s or some double variants. Clickety clack. Yep. The stations are so compared to like the hangars being 32 meters. The poor habitation modules are so tiny. Thank you for the follow, Lord and Andrew. And ignore how cartoony this is right now. This is very primitive stuff. Double alert. Play twice on stream. It's probably coming through twice. Either that or like the alerts is added twice. Let me check the overlays. Wait, I know why. Because this one still has my original alerts. I think that fixed it. How's it going, Lord Anderman? Yeah, the hangars are so big. And they're even not that big, they're just 32, you know? Just a sense of scale, it's crazy. Yeah, because these we can like kind of shape, like this can be moved over a little more to the floor. Or even 8. Yeah. I think scaling them out like another 8, maybe 16. Hmm. Yeah, so if we were to say this whole thing was its own module, we'd have to come out. So there had to be 3 in between. One thing I don't understand with collections, man, is you can't really array them without using geometry nodes, which is very annoying. You want to create a set of these, but they're so tiny compared to the hangers. Yeah, the tendency is to bring these together now. And just have one hallway in between them. Yeah, let's make it smaller. Make the core smaller. Because I want to have the hangars like really close to habitation. But I don't really want to block the view either. Sorry for unannounced exit, but I'm back. Oh, welcome back. You hear music? Yeah, there should be music playing. KY8. We could do 2 floors, like we did with these things. One, two, three. Yeah, go already. See ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey! How's it going? We're in Blender today, redoing the truck stops. Ignore the how boxy they are right now, but. I don't know. I don't really want to block, like these hangars are huge. I don't want to block the view of a player. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I finally started my space sim game last week, but I've gone for a building system like Space Engineers rather than complete pre-med stuff like SC or Elite. I love the base building in games. Nice. Did you see the space editor tool I was working on? Oh, cool. Been lurking on some streams while I work. Awesome. Okay. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Speaking of, be right back. Yeah, what if I like hid these guys away? In between the hangings. View is not so impending. And then each little section could have its own little check-in. Oh, it is me. We have 4. We could technically take 4 off each side, but it'd be really tight. Right. You can hear Pixel and the delays still. Yeah, no, it's gonna have to be like. Yeah. Ooh. Vote puppies are with you. Yeah. I'm gonna name this train just here in a bit. I'm gonna take them out. Escape pods? No, they're not escape pods. They're little rooms you can decorate. For prototyping. Prototyping all the things. So just, yeah, let me, I'll show you real quick here. So, this is the old version of the station. I don't know why that's red right now. There we go. So this is like the old station. There's our ship. All the interiors. And the old kind of truck stop was a little bit basic. And I wanted to create something with a bit more modular design to it. So I could like snap a lot of these components together. And like I wanted to have like ship storage be a little bit more realistic and a few other things. So we now have, you know, these, they're a little bit bigger. They're much bigger hangars, but they can completely store the ship in a way that makes more sense. So they have this whole like rotating thing. But now I gotta like kind of rethink. You know, the issue is these things are so big that when I'm laying this out, and I've done a couple different versions of this so far, there's you know, if you put these little rooms on their own, they become very tiny. So I'm just redoing the level. So like, let me kind of show you. Stations are no joke. No, and I'm trying to just build up prefabs now to make them all modular. Right. So like this is what you can do with one of those habitation modules. So let me just show you real quick here. So, right, so here we are in the game. And you know, here's a test habitation module. I'll just run in there, right? So you know, you rent one of these and they're kinda like your own home away from home, right? And the idea is it's kind of like The Sims, you know, you can purchase a bunch of items and just, you know, throw them, you know, in the habitation module. So like, let me just very quickly, you know, play, you know, decorate the home. Alright, so this is kind of so this is what I want players to be able to do, right? I just want them to be able to kind of like, go buy furniture and kind of like customize their own little place. invite their friends over, kind of, you know, like just have your own little, you know, place and space. It's kind of yours, you know? So the issue though is with this new station design, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's trying to find a way to make modular stations that kind of make sense. Because we need to be able to randomize them, you know what I mean? It'll be 2 layers. Right, same as like the airlock. Yeah. There's two doors. So you're seeing like the female. So in the regular scene, they spawn in right here. So there's like an inside airlock, right? And then there's a channel, and then there's the like the attachment. So they're kind of. Let me find one here. So the idea is like if the player doesn't pay his you know, rent, then there's like a ship that comes by and like pulls the module. So when like this gets socketed in, and then there's like 2 doors, so you have the airlock in the middle. So you don't actually like interact with that on the flight deck. Makes more sense. Yeah. Right, so that's the so that's the issue right now, right? These hangars are so big that just by themselves they take up a lot of space. But they, you know, there's a method to the madness. Right, because these guys, you know, do a full cycle. So so, you know, they kind of bring the ship down and then kind of close on it. Right, and it's a standard. All of the medium-sized ships like fit to this conformation. Right, so it's yeah, Spain. You look at these sizes, when you look at stations, you see something like ST and realize just how big they are. Yeah, I'll bring it, I'll end it here now, it's 12 o'clock. So this is what I'm working on, is building up these little prefabs. I've after, like, I don't have them all put together now, but I have all these different types of, you know, kind of white box bins. We're trying to find a way to randomize a lot of these, so I have vending machines and things, and but they're so big, right? So like in the process of like, because I made like this whole module for just the 4 hangars, and then you go and you add a little thing off of it just to put on a couple of those apartments. For players, and immediately it's like these little tiny things, you know what I mean? And the hangars are blocking like all of the view. So I'm like, oh crap, what am I gonna do now, right? So I had the idea, well, you know, we could kind of put like a set of apartment buildings just in between the hangars, and the hangars can kind of shield them a little bit. Very primitive shapes, because I'm just kind of gray boxing. We can fill in the bottom with like a little bit of a like faux cargo yard, but it kind of ruins the original ferry line concept that I want to have. Well, anyway, we're going to end it here on the YouTube, and I'm going to go get ready to raid someone, and we'll be back again tomorrow.